The Steelers look for some much-needed revenge here in Week 14 after losing to the Cleveland Browns on Thursday Night Football back in Week 12. This time, there will not be a blizzard. It will be in Pittsburgh's home stadium, and I have a feeling Steelers fans are going to take a collective sigh of relief after the Steelers beat the Browns on Sunday. Welcome in to the Steelers Talk Preview. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Throughout today's video, I'm going to be breaking down keys to victory, team trends, why I think the Steelers are going to beat the Browns on Sunday afternoon and get that much-needed revenge. We're going to be going live for this football game right here on Steelers Talk, guys. Me and Coop, we're going to be chopping it up, instant reactions, hour-long pregame show, extensive postgame show, all that great stuff, guys. So if you want to join the largest Steelers community of fans on game days here on YouTube, we start our watch party on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you join us then, and make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already to never miss a Steelers Talk watch party throughout the 2024 season. All right, so let's talk about this matchup here, where, I'm kind of glad that the Steelers get to play the Browns just 2 weeks after they lost to them, because I feel like a lot of people panicked after that loss against Cleveland, where it was a snow game, it was on a short week, you were on the road, there was a lot of things going against the Steelers heading into that game. Where this time it feels like all the advantages now go into the Steelers category. Cleveland's coming off a Monday night football game, so they've had a shorter week than Pittsburgh, all these different things. Also, it's not going to be snowy. It's going to be relatively cold, but it's going to be clear conditions in Pittsburgh on Sunday. At least that's what the forecast is at the time that I am recording this video. And then you're at home, so you're not dealing with the Cleveland Browns crowd. You have your crowd. You got Renegade blasting in the fourth quarter if you need it. This certainly seems like a lot of things are going in Pittsburgh's direction heading into this one. You take a look here at the Cleveland Browns and what they're going to bring from a schematic standpoint. Kevin Stefanski is their head coach. You got the offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, who runs kind of a hybrid style system between kind of a spread it out, kind of Earhart-Perkins type system, and then also mixing it with the second generation of the West Coast that Kevin Stefanski generally runs. Then you got Jim Schwartz, who runs an aggressive 4-3. You're going to see lots of cover one, lots of blitzing, lots of man coverage. That's what Jim Schwartz likes to do. So now that we've gotten the scheme out of the way here, let's take a look at the results for Cleveland so far this season. Early portion of the season, definitely not good. Their only win came against the lowly Jaguars on the road, losing to a lot of good teams. Then, you get into the second half of their season here, and they've come up with a couple of wins. They beat the Ravens, they beat the Steelers in the division, but outside of that, they haven't really been able to collect many W's, currently sitting with just 3 wins on the year. And now you take a look back here to Week 12, with the Thursday Night Football here between the Steelers and Browns in that snow game. Browns ended up winning that one 24-19. And, I thought Russell Wilson actually played really well in the conditions. He was really good on third and fourth down. I think he was 12 of 13 in third and fourth down situations in that one. But also Jameis Winston came up really big on fourth down. They were 4 for 4 on fourth down conversions there in that football game. And then also they came up with some big moments in the fourth quarter in particular. Jeudy also had a good day on Joey Porter Jr., so watch out for that potential matchup. Take a look here at the team stats in that football game. So you had the same yards per play. I don't expect that to be the same this game. You also look at the red zone percentage there, the weighty downs as well. You look at the Browns, 5 of 14, Steelers 8 of 19. By the way, the Browns were 1 of 11 on third down in that, or 1 for 10 on third down, and they were 4 for 4 on fourth down. So kind of crazy for the Browns there. Red zone, the Browns were able to collect touchdowns on 3 of their 4 red zone trips. The penalties was pretty even, I would say. The Browns got penalized a little bit more, but then the Browns gave up more turnovers. So that's what the team stats look like in that particular football game. But I think this game's going to be different, all right, plain and simply. And I alluded to it earlier. It's going to be clear weather conditions, no short week for the Steelers. In fact, the Browns have kind of a technical short week here because they just played on Monday Night Football, so they're less rested. And then you're at Acrisure Stadium, which obviously gives the advantage to the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I don't expect the Browns to have the same advantages that they had on Thursday Night Football. So you take a look here at the Browns offense here. Jameis Winston's actually been playing pretty decently, throwing the ball down the field, specifically to Jerry Jeudy, who's going to be kind of their main offensive weapon. Their 2 running backs, Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb, are really a true committee at this point in Cleveland. And David Njoku is a big, hulking tight end that they like to use over the middle as well. Take a look at the team trends this year. Browns with Jameis Winston as their quarterback this year is still not a very good offense. It was even worse with Deshaun Watson. But even with Jameis, they're not the most efficient unit out there. And the Steelers defense, of course, very, very good in most defensive categories. And they are the best in football at turning the football over. And if you know anything about Jameis Winston, is he loves to turn the ball over. As he said himself, Lord, please deliver me from these pick sixes. So the points per game trends here, the Browns offense is expected, they get 21.8 points per game with Jameis at quarterback. The Steelers are giving up 18.7. So that would point to the Browns scoring about 20 points on Sunday afternoon. So just keep that in mind. Then we get over to the defensive side of the ball. Myles Garrett absolutely dominated the football game on Thursday Night Football in Cleveland, so keep your eye on him. Denzel Ward is an excellent press man corner on the outside. And then Dalvin Tomlinson, really good run stuffer in the middle, played really well against the Steelers 2 weeks ago. And then Greg Newsome is another good corner on the outside as well that can also play a little bit in the slot. Take a look at the team trends here. Steelers with Russell Wilson versus the Browns defense. Browns defense isn't very good. They're okay on third downs. But that's really about it. Everything else, they're really down in the dumps. They continue to try to play this uber aggressive, heavy man coverage system, but they've had penalties. They don't have the personnel to run this defense, but Jim Schwartz is going to run what he likes to run there in Cleveland. So you take a look at the points per game trends. The Steelers are scoring 24.7 points with Russ at quarterback this year. Browns are giving up 25.7 points per game on defense this year. So that would point to 24 points for the Steelers on Sunday, which of course means a projection of 24-20 as the final score if you cross-reference the points per game trends between these two teams. So it's slightly outside of the margin of error. Margin of error is around 3 points or so in terms of these projections. So the Steelers are the favorite, but it's definitely a bit of a closer projection than what it was even 2 weeks ago between these two opponents. So still to come here on the Steelers Talk Preview, keys to victory versus the Browns. I got some different keys to victory this week than it was in that previous week on Thursday Night Football. Also, we got my updated Jameis Winston scouting report to get to you guys, and then we got my Week 14 score prediction, my official projection as to what the final score will be in Pittsburgh this weekend. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a Steelers football game live is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch, especially at Acrisure Stadium, because at this time of the year, the weather is cold, Renegades blasted in the fourth quarter, the terrible towels are flying. Just nothing like it, man, if you're there in person watching the Steelers play football. So if you want to go see more Steelers games this year and you want to get your butt in an Acrisure Stadium seat before this season is over, use the brand new feature from our friends at Game Time called Game Time Picks, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Simply select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen when you select a specific event, and then it's automatically going to filter through their entire database of tickets to find you the best tickets with the best prices, with the best seats for you and your family. What I love about using the Game Time app and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with the crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, guys. It's just for that first purchase. Again, create an account with Game Time today and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off that first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. My first key to victory here is to take advantage of Jameis Winston's mistakes. Hopefully the Lord does not deliver Jameis from those pick sixes this weekend, and hopefully somebody can take one of his interceptions to the house. You take a look here at my scouting report. Very similar to what it was a couple weeks ago, guys. The arm strength is still really good. He pushes the ball down the field. Very aggressive quarterback, and put up a lot of yards throughout the day. We saw that on Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. Huge amounts of passing yards for him. But the cons, the decision-making still isn't very good. The footwork is all over the place, which affects accuracy. You know, Jameis is just the ultimate Evel Knievel-style quarterback where he's going to sling that thing. He's not going to be afraid to throw it down the field, so the Steelers better be on their P's and Q's, specifically when guarding Jerry Jeudy. But that's where I'm at right now. And the Steelers have done a really good job of this, guys. Over the last 3 games, they have 3 turnovers apiece, all right? Over the last 3 games where they've had the opening stretch of their AFC North gauntlet against the Baltimore Ravens, against the Cleveland Browns, against the Cincinnati Bengals, each and every game, 3 turnovers. So hopefully the Steelers can continue that trend here in this one. And with Jameis Winston putting the ball in harm's way as he is right now, I think that the Steelers will certainly have those opportunities. Another thing that the Steelers need to do on defense is contain Jerry Jeudy, because he is a dynamic threat, and he is really establishing himself as a true number 1 receiver in the National Football League right now. Joey Porter Jr. In the snow really got toasted by him, if we're being honest, all right? But Joey, in those situations, it's harder to be the cornerback because you don't know where the receiver's going. So it's hard to get your footing on kind of the wet, slippery field that was the Cleveland Browns Stadium there on Thursday Night Football. This time it's going to be in his house. It's going to be clear conditions. He's going to be able to grip the grass at Acrisure, and I think that that's going to help him shut down Jerry Jeudy a little bit more. And I hope JPJ is ready to go because this is a big-time matchup. Another thing that the Steelers defense needs to do is they need to shape up their defense in the red zone. And this has been a big point of emphasis for Mike Tomlin in his press conferences. Keeps talking about how this team needs to do better in the red zone. And this team went from the number 1 red zone defense in the league to 15th in several weeks here since week 10. So you take a look here at what the Browns have been doing. Last 2 weeks, including against the Steelers, by the way, they're 6 of 8. In their red zone trips, scoring touchdowns. So Jameis Winston and this Browns offense has done a lot better at scoring touchdowns in the red area. And then you look at the Steelers, and it's the exact opposite here, where opponents are 12 of 14 scoring touchdowns against Pittsburgh since week 10. So that's since the Commanders game. Their opponents have scored touchdowns on 12 of their 14 red zone trips. That's not good enough, man. And the Steelers earlier in the season were so good in the red zone. Now, over the last, the second half of the season here, they haven't been quite as good. I hope that they flip the script once again and maybe make Jameis go over in the red zone this week. Shifting over to the offensive side of the ball, the one player on the Browns defense you can't let dominate is Myles Garrett. Now, that's obviously easier said than done. He's way more talented than Dan Moore Jr., the Steelers' left tackle, is. But you got to find ways, man, to chip him, to double team him, to make sure that he doesn't get to Russell Wilson as much as he did in the first half of that Thursday Night Football game, or else it's going to be another long day for the Steelers offense. Then we get to the final thing here, and that's to let Russ cook again, all right? Last week, you let him cook. 38 pass attempts, and you saw the result, man. Over 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He was absolutely fantastic throughout the day, and I think that, the Steelers, after that mini bye week where they really had the opportunity to look at what they were doing well, they understood that Russell Wilson is the best thing about the Steelers offense right now, and he is the one orchestrating this recent offensive success for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I do think they put the ball in his hands, and I think Russ delivers another 30-plus point performance in this one, and the Steelers get their revenge. I'm going to pick the Steelers to win this one 34-24. I do think Jameis and, the Browns will get their shots in there. I don't think this will be a cakewalk. It's a divisional matchup. The Browns are moving the football offensively lately. They are scoring touchdowns in the red zone where the Steelers are struggling. But I think Russell Wilson, once again, is going to have a phenomenal game. It's not going to be a weather game like it was on Thursday Night Football 2 weeks ago. Give me the Steelers to win at Acrisure and get to 10-3. So now it's your turn. Let me know down there in the comments section. Predict the score of Steelers versus Browns down there in the comments section. Can't wait to see your score predictions here for this week's matchup. So make sure you get down there right now. Let me know who you think is going to win and what you think the score is going to be. Thank you for making it to the end of this week's Steelers Talk preview. We do previews like this every single week, getting you guys ready for every single Steelers game. Plus, we put out a free and informative Steelers video breaking down the latest news and rumors on the Steelers every single day. We're also going to be going live on Sunday for this Week 14 matchup. Me and Coop breaking everything down with you guys. Super chat giveaways, all that great stuff. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.